Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a more or less pretty delayed, try not to grin, nothing like that. Welcome to Let's Talk Land. Holy moly, has it been a long time since we've had just one of these, just like a talk with one another. It's always like, I don't even know what the last time we did. We did the driver's license thing a while back. Yeah, actually wasn't that long ago, but still. Also, mug of the sitting. Okay, so really quickly, just for those guys who have a fragile time and just not a lot of time at your disposal, let me run down some things really quick. Just a pointer, so if you don't want to sit through this whole video and hear me ramble, you can just listen to this. Essentially, in this video, we're going to be talking about the basically 2019 as a whole and where I want to go in 2020. So just like a really quick recap is 2019 was fantastic. You guys are a big reason why that was. It was a good year for me for personal growth and stuff, mainly that. For 2020, I think I want to start trying to do things. Basically, 2020 for me is the year of trying things, just trying things without hesitation, just trying them. Things that may be affected by this are my crazy long, I don't know what it is, like 6 or 7 or something, year-long upload streak that I've had, may end in 2020 because of that. Also, I really think I want to try to shift at some point, maybe even for a month or whatever, basically using Twitch of a kind of way to do videos I like to do, but don't exactly have a place anymore on YouTube. So for instance, we have the Outer Worlds Let's Play right now that we're going on with the channel. That's the kind of thing. We will finish that, by the way. I'll do my best to do that, unless something horrible happens. But yes, I'll do my best to wrap up that Let's Play. But content like that, I would rather do a live stream of, and then maybe upload that in like 2-hour chunks to YouTube. But other things, like for instance, one of the things that we do constantly now, and I love it to pieces, is have a goofy, weird, fun time in our Let It Die kind of streams. We always do it on Friday. It's just a blast, and most of the time it's us just doing something kind of mundane, TDM grinding for decals, but in that kind of just monotony, we're bored as hell with each other, and we just kind of talk a bunch of nonsense to one another, and we always have goofy fun times, or at least I do. So for me, that's kind of the way I see homeostasis within two mediums, where I could basically do more streaming, and then just take that streaming footage and edit it. But also there are other things, like I need probably a better PC to handle that, to like record and also stream at the same time. It could be a bit of a messy situation. Also, I hope dearly that I am not the most overexposed thing. I look kind of bright. I don't like it. But anyways, I'll try to fix it real quick. You know what? I'm just gonna leave it. I'm hoping it's not the worst thing. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that's basically the recap. That's everything that I kind of wanted to quickly talk about, but these can go on for a long time, and I didn't want to waste your time if you are sparse with time. So, that's kind of the gist. The only real big hindrance with all that is that the whole daily uploads thing may come to an end, which is a weird thing. Now, with that being said, you're still probably going to be getting a good amount of videos, like a video every single day that is like 20 minutes a piece, that is me editing down basically an hour worth of footage for the last like 6 or some years is, I hope, okay, and enough to satisfy you guys. But anyways, I digress. That is the quick synopsis of what we're going to be talking about today in this Let's Talk. But let's first just do a quick little trip down memory lane. This is going to be the shorter rundown of our talk. So ladies and gentlemen, 2019. I hope dearly that it was a good year for you, if not, just not bad. If it wasn't bad, hopefully it was passable. If it was great, then good. Good. For me, at least I found 2019 was a big year for me when it comes to growth. We didn't really grow crazy amount in channel wise, which is fine because like 2019 was one of the bigger years for me for like figuring out what I want, and understanding where I want to go, and what do you call it, entering into like this understanding of the price that you may need to pay for the future, I guess, which was a whole thing where, like, for me this year, there was an allotted time where I was, in my perception, tested quite a bit. And it was one of those moments where it was something that I always kind of wondered. For those guys who do not know, I do not live on my own. I still live at home and whatnot. I also have, my job is very kind of sporadic, I guess is a good way to say it. Like one week I'll work all days full time, and then another week I'll only need to work 3 times, something like that. The reason why is because I work quite quickly, and I want to basically be done as soon as the work's done. I don't want to sit there for 5 hours not doing anything just because it's the regimented thing. Now this is a terrible way if you want to actually make money at your job. You want a job that at the very least you can account for the money you're going to gain that month. But for me, I have this passion called YouTube/entertainment, which I like to produce a lot. So I would rather take the financial hit just so that I can do that as well, just to live at home, so I can kind of have benefits there immensely like that. But regardless, there was a moment in time this year where I basically had to do I had like a pretty decent, at least to me, a decent simulation for what it would be to live alone for a good bit too. It wasn't that long, it was about 2 weeks, but I'm also a big believer of if you can do anything for 2 weeks, you can probably do it forever, or at least a long time. But also at the end of those 2 weeks, it was not that bad. Like, what do you call it? But I also kind of had feelings about that. But yeah, it was just like stuff that I never really went into, but I always felt like I think I would be fine with it. Like, for instance, when someone first starts living by themselves, they're like, oh, I have to manage laundry, I have to manage keeping the house clean, I have to manage feeding myself, I have to manage all of these things, as well as things that I didn't have to do, which was like bills being paid and whatnot, which is, I imagine, a boatload of stress. But alas, if you get your financial things in line, hopefully you'll know how much money you're making each month, and you can just associate that with that, right? So as long as you're doing your job and you're getting your hours, you should be able to make that happen. Regardless, I did all of that. So like basically a good simulation of living completely on your own, as well as having to take care of 2 dogs that are pretty old and tame, and a brand new puppy, basically. And that puppy, man, is a ton of work. It was so crazy. But it gave me a lot of like, and again, by the way, because of these dogs, because of this newborn dog, unless I wanted to clean up piss every single morning and shit everywhere, I would have to wake up, I think it was at 6. At 6, I would get up, quickly let him out, and then just basically get ready to go into work around 7:30. And then leave at 6, and then still exercise whilst also having to play with the dog and manage the dog and make sure he's fed and all these things. So it was like, to me, again, if it was just me, like basically house sitting and whatnot, I'd be like, okay, this is not the worst. But if I also didn't make the house better than it was left with me, I mean, I cleaned everything. I don't have a problem with cleaning nor doing laundry. I don't have a problem doing minuscule tasks. I guess. So anyways, regardless, that was something that happened this year that to me was like a pivotal moment. Not only that, but it's funny, at that exact time, I also read the book that I've been meaning to get around to for a long time, which was 12 Rules for Life, which was lovely. I liked that. It also sparked in me the desire to want to keep learning, and learning on my terms almost, because in school, I just have a really like negative background when it comes to trying to learn, and just have my brain being a mess and just it not really working out. But then I'm also the person that can learn anything really, really fast if it's something that I even just slightly enjoy. So yeah, and it's a bit selfish. I got a selfish brain, I guess, when it comes to stuff like that, learning at least. So yeah, but regardless, that was a moment where this year where it was like a thing for me where it's like, oh, I wouldn't be helpless, which is like you again, depending on what kind of person you are, some people have an exceptional amount of confidence in their ability. For me, I always have a bit of, until you are proven, there is doubt. You know what I mean? Like, until you do something, you can truly stand atop this mountain, then sure, you may have the background for it, you may have been able to do things that are similar to it, like do something that is mentally strenuous, physically strenuous, but you're still able to do it. Some people would see that and be like, oh, that means I can do this too. Me, I kind of feel like you need to be tested on that first. Kind of like prepare for the worst, hope for the best kind of situation. Or mindset, I guess. But this was one of those instances where I genuinely thought I did that. Especially considering looking after not only it was like the dog that I was talking about, his name is Duke. We made a video with him. He was on my lap when we were doing a Try Not to Grin. By the way, I was still doing all of this, going to work full time. Well, more than full time, because I had to wake up at 6 to let the dog out, and I was basically up just doing that, feeding them. They eat 3 times a day, all of that stuff. But regardless, he was also an incredibly energetic dog. I was not one of those like he's an angel dog, like a baby. He constantly needed attention. He constantly pissed all over the floor, and I had to clean it up and all those things. Which I know many of you lovely people have done much better than that. But for me, as a person who was always kind of wondering how I would handle that, and again, I've handled things in the past that kind of would show that I could, I was like, I don't know how this is going to work. But then at the 2-day, after the 2 weeks, I was like, oh, I actually got fine with this. And weirdly, I kind of was... It's weird because also other things is that I still exercised for 3 or 4 hours every single day, and I still made YouTube videos every single day, and I still streamed every single weekend. So that was the biggest battle to me, is for these 2 weeks, you are going to basically have the survivalist mentality, where like at a base level, you need to go in and work your hours to the maximum point so that you can make enough money to support the housing that you're going to live in, as well as the food that you're going to intake. And just to put a little dollop of icing on the cake, we are going to make it so that you have no free time, because there's now a living thing that you have to take care of that is just a ball of energy. And you also, you're also going to have to keep up these hobbies. And to me, I was like, that's a lot from going to like roughly nothing to all of it. Now, the only thing, so then I came to the end of that 2 weeks, right? After, and it was all in all the time, right? So I came to that point at the end of those 2 weeks, and I was like, oh, not only did I manage this, but I was actually, I handled, to me at least, the stress aspect of it well. Like, I'm pretty good about it. As long as I know if I have some sort of list of things I need to get done, I'll crank them out, like fast, like bang, 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 done. And I'll end the day feeling like tired, exhausted, but like I fucking nailed it. Like I did that shit, dude. It's like the right way of handling stress can leave you feeling powerful and like oh, I did it. I could do it again. I could do it again and again and again. You know what I mean? Because it didn't break me. Then again, I'm also a person that kind of lives off stuff like that, like mental challenge and beating and stuff like that, and creating a rhythm out of something that is rhythmless, you know? The one thing I think, and I think I even mentioned this in like the Let's Talk that we made when we were talking about this, but the one thing that I would change, that would have made you know how I said you could do something for 2 weeks, and if you do it for 2 weeks, you can probably do it for another 2 weeks, another 4 weeks, another 5, like, 'cause you've already made it that far, right? So it's just like times that times another 2, and you're still alive after that 2 weeks, then who's to say you wouldn't be after another 2, you know? It's kind of that mentality. Anyways, regardless, the one thing that I would say in that whole experience, especially having looked back on it and having like been able to analyze it quite a bit, the dog part was the hardest part, especially considering I love things, and when I love something, I love it a whole lot. And when I am responsible for that thing in every way, I will do my everything to make sure that thing is okay. So I think that was also part of it, is like the thing that was the hardest about that 2 weeks was the fact that I was looking after this dog on top of everything, because I always had to make sure he was happy and feeling good. I always had to make sure he went out. I had to discipline him and keep him in check and teach him so that he was better than how I left it. You know, I wanted to make the house and everyone better than how I left it. So I had to train him consistently, so that I didn't have any time to for anything for me. And it's weird because it's kind of like the whole adage of like how can, if you have no time to yourself, for yourself, how are you happy? You know, how can you don't have any time for you? What is that? I think the ultimate meaning of that is purpose, meaning. Because even though I had not a shred of time to myself, I still had these things that I needed to do, and these things that depended on me to do them. I'm not saying everyone should go with dogs. In fact, I'm saying the opposite. It's a lot of work to take care of a newborn puppy, and I can't even imagine a child. But I also imagine that you'd have fucking 2 people looking after a kid, hopefully. Anyways, not just little old me on top of 2 other beings that needed caring to. But regardless, the point is that was the one thing that if I could not do, is look after this newborn puppy by myself for such a long time, then maybe. And again, maybe I would change my tune if I really, really hammered home like that whole workflow, and maybe I didn't have to get up at 6, but I could get up at 7, and that dog was like trained off the bat, or like he knew that when we went outside, he went to pee, and I didn't have to sit there for like another 20 minutes hoping that he would go pee. And the reason why I had to get up so early is because if I didn't let him out at that time, he would pee everywhere, or shit everywhere, and all that stuff. So it was just more work for me. So it just dogpiled basically. So yeah, to me, even though I'm explaining this like stressful boiler pot kind of 2 weeks, I came out of it being so happy about the situation, because again, I had the idea of like, okay, because that was my whole thing with that, is I wanted to see if I would break, if I would fold. Because to me, the overarching fear for me is I love YouTube, and I appreciate you guys so much. I also like what I do. I love that so much. I like creating things. I like making goofy videos. I like trying to make you laugh every day, even if I may fail to do it sometimes or a lot of the time. I like all that stuff. I also like exercise a lot. I like being healthy. I like trying to work hard now, which hopefully will pay off in the future. If I ever have loved ones or a wife or a child or anything like that, I can tell them that I exercised, tried to eat healthy, tried to be healthy so that I could stay by their side. I like all these things. And it was always one of those things where it's like, okay, well, am I a necessity, or am I a symptom of my current reality, which is, again, living at home, again, having to handle this responsibility on top of having to go in for your 9 to 5, well, a little more 9 to 5 kind of job, and all that. Could I manage that? And turns out, throughout this entire 2 weeks, I could. I still exercised the same amount as I always do. I still made videos the same amount as that I always do. I still streamed the same amount that I always do. I did all those things. So I was like, okay, if there was ever a time or a place or anything like that where I did, where I was just like, nope, you're on your own, bang. So I was like, okay, at a base level, I need to get a job, and I need to make sure that that job's income is sufficient to pay my house electricity and water. I also need to make sure I have a little bit of money after that, so I may be living in like a 1-bedroom apartment, which is fine. What do you call it? Hopefully I would find some way to pay for internet, or I could go leech internet off of Starbucks. So we could go in there and like use their internet and upload a video real quick. Like I had the confidence where I was like, oh, I could do this. Like I could do this at least in my somewhat understanding of like with relatively lower means. So to me, that was a really kind of an experience that I'm grateful for. Because it was, it was something where, like, don't get me wrong, I'm not like I could do anything. It's not like that. It's just to me where I'm like, how do I put it in words? Feeling less helpless. You know what I mean? That's a good feeling. A feeling like you wouldn't just be shredded by the world, immediately. But that also led me to kind of having a different impact on everything. Which, for me, I was like, okay, well, say if that is the case. Say if I ever was pushed in that place where I was like, okay, you needed to get a job, you needed to get a specific kind of job that paid a specific amount for the housing and all that stuff. One of the things that's holding me back immensely is the driver's license problem, which I talked to you guys about beforehand. Basically, I created this weird mental blockade in my mind where driving was a fear of mine, a big one. And it's fear that I'm still trying to whittle down despite I still have my license. It's something that I'm noticing that I'm like starting to push that off a little bit. Like I'm like, oh, we could go driving, not today, whatevs. Like moving, even it's a problem. I need to nip it in the butt. But anyways, regardless, that was one of the things I wanted to knock out of the park, because if I ever did need to get somewhere, whether it be a job, whether it be an interview, whether it be whatever, maybe it's something that to me was a little more selfish, which was me being like, maybe I want to go to the movies and just get out of my comfort zone, just by myself. Maybe I make a friend that lives near me and we want to hang out. Boom. Maybe relationship stuff. Maybe with the whole judo thing, coming up with some sort of martial arts thing that I could go every day that could give me some more discipline. Stuff like that. So that pushed me in that direction as well. Now you guys might be asking, well, Grin, why? Why did you want to go in this direction in the first place? Well, because that whole experience made me believe that if I could do that, like that, I can do that. You know what I mean? Like if, and it's something that I kind of want to move forward with, is I want to do my best to find some sort of job that can support me to a degree in which I could have just a rented, like some tiny apartment, but also would still allow me to do YouTube and have hopefully not the worst internet in the world. Because, you know, man, I'm sure some of you guys can relate, but like, there's no shame, I think, in anyone who does live with their parents. I'm not trying to do that to you, but for me, I'm turning 23. If I'm 25 and I don't have, like, if I'm not on my own, that to me would be a pretty big. Well, actually, I don't even think it's that bad. Again, like, I hate the way that I could be, just because this is my kind of, hopefully, this is my, like, bar I'm setting for myself. If there is anyone who's out there who is in that place, it's not me coming after you or saying that that's wrong. Like, again, if I was living at my parents' home at 25, honestly, houses cost a fortune. Also, life can kick you in the dick 5 times over, with like you being unemployed, even though you didn't really do anything wrong, because the economy shits the bed, because of 1,000 different reasons why you're like, I guess I have to move back in here. So there's no shame here, coming from me at least. But to me, it would be rather nice to have the goal of, you know, getting my own apartment and all that stuff by hopefully 25, or at the very least 25. But that also requires me having to do a lot of, because that was my whole thing a while ago, where I used to have the perception of, like, I'm willing to take as many sacrifices as I personally possibly can to pursue this dream I have and this thing I enjoy so much. But then over the course of these couple of years, I've also realized that I may not be made to be successful in my dream. But it doesn't mean I don't want to do it, because it's clearly something that I love and I enjoy doing. So what do I mean by that? I love making videos. I already told you guys about the things I enjoy so much, about creation and all this stuff. But I'm not a person that has the need nor want for people to look at me. I never have wanted to be popular. I've never seen the appeal. I've never wanted to be noticed necessarily. Yeah, the only thing that, like, the one thing that I do really like seeing is when my videos make someone happy or help in any way. Like, that's something that is tangible and good. It is as pure as it is what it is. You know, it's not something where, like, you're you know, trying to fire me up. It's instead someone's being like, hey, this helped me, or hey, you made me laugh, or hey, you something like that, where that's like visceral, feel like there's no weirdness in between it, you know. It's not like this, like, vanity or envy or gluttony or all these kind of things that can build to be problems. Now, that's not to say that I think there's anything bad with a person wanting to like, you know, experience that, to want people to acknowledge them. But for me, it's never been something that I've needed. The only thing that sucks is, if you want a career, you need to be noticed. So it's one of those weird things where it's like, if there was like a millionaire out there who was like, you know what, dude, I think your content's great, and I'm gonna do a Patreon thing and give you, like, I don't know what $2,000 some odd dollars or however it is to survive and live, which is way more than $2,000, but still, every month, just because I want you to keep doing this or whatever. But that would be great. But unfortunately, that's not the fucking magic land that we're living in. So instead, I came to the realization, and dude, it's not that I didn't try, is the other thing. Like, I know, like, that's one thing that may break my heart, is when people are like, well, are you actually trying? It's like, dude, I try my hardest on things that I feel matter. You know what I mean? Like, again, dedicating so much just bonus, any free time that you really have to making an experience more graceful, more joyful, and just relaxing for a person, to me is great. But like, me spending that time on, like, tags or on, like, self-promotion, going into, like, Reddit and being like, hey, by the way, I reacted to some goofy memes, check them out, and I just don't want to do that, you know what I mean? Which is something that there's ways to basically grow, which to me are always, I don't know, man, manipulation for me is a weird one, or like it's always nice to understand the prods of manipulation, so that if anyone else is messing with you and or messing with someone you can care about, you can kind of see those threads and pluck them in a way that makes them come undone. But as of like doing them, feels weird, feels kind of immoral, and like not what I want, you know? And I don't know, who's to say it's immoral? Who's to say that like everyone's not just lying? But I don't know. It's one of those things that I can't help myself. Like I try. Like, you know, there's times when I get fed up and I'm like, I want to be successful. Fuck it. I'm gonna dedicate so much time to doing these things. I'm gonna dedicate so much time to doing a video that I give a shit about in no way, just because I know it'll get views and whatnot. And then I do it, and then I just feel like it just took all the wind out of my sail. You know what I mean? So yeah, I've come to this conclusion of like, okay, maybe I'm just terrible at this kind of thing. So what does that mean for me? So I'm like, okay, well, it means that I need to come up with some sort of, I need to become stable, basically. I need to become stable. And now with that being said, stability to me does not cost an arm and a leg. What do you call it? The job that I work at right now is very physically demanding, and focus intensive. Essentially, it's like a lot, I kind of call it grunt work, but basically, like for instance, one of the higher paying jobs we have is, you know, those big trucks, like giant trucks with like this giant decal on the side of them, with like, it's like, you know, Visa or whatever. It's like a, you know, oil company, whatever. We put those on those giant cars, and it pays a good amount of money. But what do you call it? When a lot of that is you like taking a squeegee or like a little piece of plastic basically, and you're sticking on this giant sticker, but you're having to hold on a stick, like stand on a ladder, stabilize yourself, and just do this meticulously. And a lot of those giant trucks have rivets, which is something that you have to meticulously go around and stick them onto the thing. Basically, it's just a lot of work of like you using stabilization muscles, and it will just like rip your soul out of your body. And it's funny because it was one of those moments where it was one of the first times I realized like how strength works within people, which is a weird thing, because you like some jobs you would literally wake up at 6 or 7, sometimes 8, be there by 8, and then you'd go to put on this decal, and your body would feel hot, your body would start to tremble, your joints would start to cramp like crazy, and you just feel your body kind of slowly start to crumble. But then at a certain point, your body would just kind of like almost like the alerts of pain. Pain is that. Pain is an alert to the body to tell you something's happening, something's wrong. But if you live in that environment enough, the siren stops ringing because you're clearly fine with that said thing, right? So for me, that's the kind of the similar situation. If anyone's ever had to like do a straight up 9 to or 8 to like 7, or even more than that, 8 to 8, just going boom boom, all being strenuous stuff where you are constantly moving, holding up stuff, stabilizing yourself on a ladder whilst trying to get out air pockets, scrubbing the share of the car, like 1,000 different things, and like again, there's a point where you think, I gotta stop, I can't go on. But if you move past that, if you keep going, even though you feel that way, you get to a point where your body's just like, all right, I guess we'll just do this then, and it will stop yelling at you so loudly. I wouldn't suggest it, but sometimes there's like a time crunch and you need to make it happen, right? So yeah. Anyways, the reason why I'm telling you that is because it's conducive to what we were talking about the whole idea of like, okay, well, if we were able to get to this place where I am able to get like hopefully in the next couple years, maybe I'll find something. Maybe it's like, hey, I don't know, man. It's kind of silly, but I don't know. It's one of the only things I want to look into. But I also think it's one of the most impossible things to find out how to get into, and all that shit. But to find a job, basically, is what I'm getting at. Like to find a stabilized job, or even maybe work with my family to make like another job for me that would pay more in all these things. Would also be something. That's kind of my goal for 2020, is to find out what the hell I'm doing in terms of like financially, and then pursue that to the point in which I can stabilize myself to where I could pick up YouTube free of anyone else's kind of necessity, if that makes any sense. So basically, I want to that's the great way to put it. Hopefully, within the coming years, I can become independent. And I've already seen that with that independence, I'm still able to achieve my goals of uploading every day and streaming on the weekends despite I'm tired, and also not giving up exercise with all that. So yeah, as long as I can find a 95, but my point was talking about the job that I do currently, is if that job that I find that pays pretty well happens to be somewhat physically intensive, that's the job I have right now. It shows itself to be more or less, sometimes within spurts, very physically demanding and etc. So I don't, and I'm not miserable that whole time either. You know what I mean? So it's not like, it's like basically, I don't know, I have a pretty good resistance to things that are more or less not the funnest thing to do, but you need to do them. And when you do them, hopefully you'll get a decent reward for doing them. So yeah, that's basically what I'm getting at, is the like, yeah, that's my plan, is to find some sort of means to support myself so that I can feel comfortable in pursuing my dream forever. Even if I just have to work at the same mundane job, I'm not making a ton of money, but I'm able to survive. I'm able to do YouTube. Hopefully I'm able to buy a game every now and again. Hopefully I'm able to support myself with an okay, not crazy apartment. And yeah, hopefully I'm able to find a companion that would accept all those things, not being a rich person and all that stuff. Yeah, that's the hope, man. But that's kind of where my sights are on right now, and it's the whole thing. But I'm also not trying to rush, because I feel like rushing can be a problem where like I still want to enjoy life and not be miserable and sad, you know? So I'm doing my best to also, like, again, that's why I'm not saying like this month I need to do this. Because I don't want to break myself, you know. I want to focus on enjoying life and self-growth as well, where I feel like if you get so consumed by this one thing, everything else falls away. But anyways, that's kind of the whole weird mental space that I've been in, especially these last couple months, especially when I got around to like getting around to the car thing, driver's license thing. That was a big kind of pivotal moment for me, especially after having done that, like being able to feel confident in that I could survive, and then being like, okay, well, and then also having the whole YouTube thing and being like, okay, well, what is there any way that I can do this where I could just support this myself with having my job? It's not YouTube, it's just like maybe me working at like, I don't know if it's a trash man or whatever it is, me doing that and then coming home and doing the whole having enough money to have the whole YouTube thing. But I don't know, I gotta look into that, man. Canada, I don't know what kind of jobs we have that would pay okay, not be the most insane thing, not require like a college crazy degree and whatnot, but also with my stupid learning nonsense disability weirdness, I'll be able to learn stuff. Yeah, it's a whole thing. I don't know. I didn't mention it, by the way. One of the things that I was saying was recently, and it's kind of a weird thing, and I was saying I have no idea how I would get into this. And I think I'm going to look into it and realize, hot damn, there's nothing. There's no way to get into this. And if it is, you need to go to some sort of weird schooling that may not help you. But what do you call it? One of the things, and I talked to my brother about this, and I was telling him, if I could go back in time to when I was in high school, what would I pursue? And one of the things I said to him is, I would pursue weird fashion. I would pursue fashion. I really enjoy like making someone look good and like having everything come together and just being like, oof, you look fucking like great. Not even like, again, I wouldn't go for like hipster nonsense. I would go for like classy gentleman, nice. But I have no idea how you get into fashion. I think I'd be fucked, just screwed, because I'm sure you need to like develop it later on. And also I think you need to know people, and I know nobody. But yeah, it would be one of those things where having a look. So I don't know. I might look into that to see if there's any sort of thing. But I feel like it's going to be one of those things where you need to like spend 4 years of your life going to like some sort of school, and that school be kind of messy anyway. But yeah. Also, I don't know how you would get a job in it either. Like, what would you do? I don't know. Regardless, ladies and gentlemen, on to the future. So that was 2019. As of YouTube things, again, like I said, it was kind of just a fun year where I learned some things. I'm proud of myself when it comes to YouTube stuff, because we did try quite a bit of new things last year when we were kind of really just digging ourselves into a hole of like doing the same shit over and over again and being like, why isn't it working? Whereas this time, This time, again, things don't need to work. I just need to have the courage to keep trying something, because maybe one day it will work, you know? To keep trying to test new things, or even maybe copy someone, but then change it a little bit so that it's kind of my own twist on something. Like anything, just something. I bit my fucking lip, ow. Which is something, right? And I want to do that so much more in 2020. I'm hoping dearly that I have the kind of like the courage, but also the will to do something. And I'm also hoping I have the audience understanding for you guys to allow me to do that as well. And that's why I say the whole daily uploads thing, as much as I like it, well, I like it in the sense that I'm there for you guys every day. Yeah, it's just one of those things where like sometimes I see like the video, like especially the Outer Worlds or something, it's like 40 views, which is amazing. Thank you guys for giving me any time of day. But to me, it's like those videos take a lot to make with diminishing returns. So would I just be better off on like trying to make a video, which maybe it's like it means I don't upload for 2 days, but when you guys do get a video, it's hopefully pretty good. Or also, is it just something where I'm not insane? Or like, you know, sometimes you go fucking mental being like, I need a video for today. Fuck it. I wanted to do this bigger video, whether it be like a Let It Die video, whether it be like a Borderlands video that has some more greater context and oomph. But I'm like, fuck, I need a video for today, so I'll just film a bunch of these so that I have my days covered. So stuff like that can get a bit mucky. And I think maybe in 2020 I'll have the courage to be like, I'm sorry guys, but there's not going to be a video today, but that's because either I'm broken and I need today to do something personal, or it's because I'm hopefully making a video that's better for you guys, and it's not me stressing about what to upload, you know? But then again, I also want to do more streaming in 2020, like do that thing where we stream more, but then I just edit our live streams rather than having to edit like 2 separate different types of content. If I could try to find a way to harmonize them, that'd be pretty great. But anyways, yeah, so that's kind of where I was talking about me like maybe stopping daily uploads. I don't know if I will or not. Probably. I hope I do. But was there anything I missed? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just like general things. Like again, 2020. I'm hoping to try things consistently. Like I have a tendency to kind of stay on my regiment, stay on my thing. Although I do like that. Like again, to me, like I do enjoy doing things to the point in which they become like zen or serenity involved. Like right now, or I feel like right now, boom, I could make a Try Not to Grin, and hit all the beats that I want to, and just have a goofy fun time no matter what's in front of me, right? But then there are other things like the podcast, which are still kind of me in Wonderland, where I'm like, I gotta find my groove, my like kind of thing, my own kind of twist on stuff. Even though we kind of have some of that already there. Same thing with live streaming. Like live streaming, man, at the beginning of this year, I probably would have told you it's still one of the most terrifying things to me, but now I love it so much. Probably because you guys have also, just like the people that we found along the way, have made that just a joy, a joy time. So if you're one of those people, which most likely you are, thank you so much for just being around and being you. But, ladies and gentlemen, that more or less is it. I think I covered everything I wanted to. I wanted to talk about like the kind of journey I went on in 2019, things that matter to me at least. Again, the year was a pretty good year for self-growth. It's basically the end of the goal, as well as I want, like my mindset going into 2020 is a bit different in terms of what I'm trying to go to. And 2020, to me, I hope dearly, so dearly, that I have the courage to keep trying random new shit. Like new shows, like Try Not to Grin, try to put my own weird community spin on it, and like the podcast thing, because to me, I like all that. Also, I was thinking about doing, because it's right now, hopefully I can get this to you sooner rather than later, even though I'm already filming this pretty late. It's 2020 and it's the 4th of January. But anyways, hopefully I can get this to you sooner, because we're still kind of in like the New Year's resolutions land. I was thinking about not showcasing, but showing you guys my like weirdo exercise kind of thing, like a while back, and maybe even at the beginning of this year, we did like an exercise regiment, where like I showed you guys basically my exercising set, mostly because I wanted to show my brother as well as myself, like my set, so in case I'm doing something incorrectly, so I could see like, oh, I'm not doing that properly, so I should, straighten my back more because it's off kilter and I'm not doing it properly and all that stuff. But recently, like over the last 3 months, I found like 3 things that I am like fully behind, and I don't think a lot of people know in terms of exercise. In terms of like the importance of certain things, what's happening in your muscle, how you, depending on what you want, you shouldn't be a fatigue seeker. That's a belief I kind of always had, but the whole adage of like one more rep is no bueno for me. So I was thinking about trying stuff like that, making another video kind of series of that, kind of sharing my findings on exercise if anyone cares to listen and hear me ramble. As well as I think it might be interesting because a lot of the exercises that I do are actually like pretty normal, and with my hands they're still pretty normal. So if I can do them, sure as hell you can too. Yeah. Regardless, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's it. I think that is it. Again, 2020, we're gonna be trying new things. Hopefully, unless I get unless I become a little hermit and I just get happy and safe in me doing nothing. I want to try new things. I want to upload different types of shows, content. I still do want to cover games consistently and stuff like that. But yes, what is the other thing? Potential byproducts of that, as well as me pursuing the things that I'm now pursuing, is maybe daily upload stops, and then with me trying new things. May also mean that that may contribute to that, is me trying this new thing may take like me 2 days to form this video, and I can upload in one of those days, so you guys end up going without a video for 1 or 2 days. So stuff like that may happen, although I think I will probably tell you guys that stuff. Oh, as well as probably more live streams down the line, where I can actually, edit the live stream clip for YouTube, because it's basically the same thing, but also I think it'd be kind of nice because one of the things I constantly do whenever we live stream is I always see the person's name and then their following comment. So if you are one of the amazing people that show up in our live streams, hopefully you get like a little shout out almost just for hanging out with me and then stopping on by. As well as just another thing I want to sneak in here, I would really like to, again, I kind of talked about it at the tail end of last year. Well, like one of the reasons why I got my driver's license was to kind of try to be more social and get out of my shell a little bit more, because that's kind of another, not a fear, but so much a hindrance in my life, is me not having very good, like being very social, because I'm an introvert and whatnot. But I would like to do that in 2020, just try to create more friendships, I guess, and yeah, reach out to more people, hopefully, probably even reach out to more YouTube people that I haven't done in a while, which I've been meaning to do, to see, just basically say what's up to people. Regardless, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully 2020 is better than 2019. That's asking a lot, because 2019 wasn't that bad for me. In fact, many good things happened, but hopefully 2020, yeah, fuck it, let's hope for that, guys. Hopefully 2020 is our motherfucking year. And if 2019 was your motherfucking year, awesome. Hell to the yeah. But yes, let's hope 2020 can be the decade that we get our shit together, as well as the world is kind to us. Hopefully. Again, I mentioned this on stream, but maybe we make AI, maybe we make quantum computing, maybe everything goes to shit. Who knows? But we can try our best. Okay, we can try our best, and that's what I'm damn well doing. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. Also, hopefully you guys stick with me through the 2020 hellish loveliness, whatever it may be. Yes, I would love to have you guys around, whether it be on streams or in comments, or for the magical people that like this video. Thank you, everybody. You're all lovely. Subscribe button over here, as well as 2 videos further that way. Thank you kindly for everyone who has put up with my bullshit, and goodbye.